You individually cannot be compelled to make a statement, answer questions, or submit written paperwork that has your signature, especially papers that admit or confess to wrongdoing. You understand you have that right, Mr. Arzola,
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Nelson.
Yes, Your Honor.
In addition, you each have the right individually to a jury trial. That means you each, in your own case, and your attorney could with the state, select 6 jurors from what's called a jury pool or jury panel of disinterested citizens who would hear the entire trial and decide whether you are not guilty or you have been proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt of the charges in your case. Do you understand you have the right to a jury trial, Ms. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Arzola?
Yes, Your Honor.
Each of you has the right to confront witnesses. If you each decided individually to go to trial, the state would submit evidence by way of testimony, people to testify. Each of you individually would have the right in your own trial to question, cross-examine, or challenge any witness who would testify. That's called the right of confrontation. Do you understand you have that right, Mr. Arzola?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Nelson?
Yes, Your Honor.
You also have the right of appeal. That is a right wherein each of you would, after the case is over, you each would have the right to demand that a higher court review all of the evidence and the trial itself, whatever material is there, for whatever legal challenge you wanted to make. You'd have to be mindful that there are legal and technical issues that require form and substance in the documents and time limitations. But you'd have the right to appeal. Do you understand you have that right? Ms. Nelson?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Arzola?
Yes, Your Honor.
You also have the right to demand that these proceedings be held in the open public courtroom. Because of the COVID pandemic, we're not doing that. But in order to proceed, you have reviewed and signed a document that, and so has the state, by the way, because they have the individual right also. You have each reviewed and signed a document titled Consent to Video Conference, which is the way we're handling this through our computers, through the network. Do you understand you have the right to demand that that be done in the open courtroom? Mr. Arzola?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Nelson?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, as part of these proceedings, each of you has reviewed and signed documents that are part of this proceeding. Those documents, it is my understanding that each of you, with your respective attorneys, reviewed, understood, and signed. Did you review all the documents that you've signed with Ms. Morgan, Ms. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Arzola, did the documents that you signed, did you review them with Ms. Corby?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did either one of you have questions that are not answered concerning the documents in this proceeding? Mr. Arzola?
No.
Ms. Nelson?
No.
All right. To begin with, you each signed the consent to video conference. We've already talked about that. Did you sign one, Ms. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Arzola?
Yes.
You each have signed other documents that I'll discuss momentarily. Ms. Morgan, the documents that Ms. Nelson has signed, did you review them with her and counsel her on them?
Yes, Judge, we did that in a breakout room this morning.
Did she have any questions that has not been answered?
I believe everything was fully answered, Judge.
Thank you. Now, did you yourself sign an affirmation that says that the state has complied with Article 39.14 in the discovery?
Yes, Judge.
Ms. Corby, did you review the documents that Mr. Arzola has signed?
He reviewed the paperwork. I reviewed the paperwork. I asked him if he had any questions, answered any of his questions. I believe he understands the paperwork. And I did affirm.
39.14?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. All right. Now, Ms. Nelson, Mr. Arzola, You each signed a document that is titled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions. In each one, it identifies you, it identifies your individual case number. That document includes identifying you, establishing what you're pleading to, what charge, and how you're pleading. Then it's got an extensive discussion in there, individual numbers of paragraphs or sections 1 through 15 that remind you again, this time in writing, of your individual rights and protections. Did you understand that document, Ms. Nelson?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Arzola?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you also each signed what's called a plea agreement. In that plea agreement, it is specified how you pled and in specific the punishment involved. Are you familiar with, did you understand that document, Mr. Arzola
Yes, Your Honor.
and Ms. Nelson?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, tell me about the, Ms. Nelson had an original charge of DWI. Does the state have any motions?
Judge, we would move to add count 2, obstruction of a highway, and then proceed solely on count 2.
You're adding count 2?
Yes, Judge, it wasn't originally filed with a count 2.
All right. Ms. Morgan, any objection?
There's no objection, Judge. I explained the amendment and how we had 10 days notice and we're prepared to accept it today.
And you do waive the 10 days notice, or you already had the 10 days notice?
We waived the 10 days notice.
Very good. Based on the motion to amend, no objection, and the waiver of 10 days notice, the court grants the motion. Ms. Nelson, your attorney has succeeded in having this matter reduced from DWI to obstruction of a passageway, highway, or waterway.
Thank you.
There's a specific change. It's no longer in the DWI category. Now, state, pardon me, Ms. Nelson, is she going to get deferred or regular probation?
It's deferred, Judge.
All right. And do we have any motions on Mr. Arzola?
Judge, on that one, we're moving to waive and abandon the extreme intoxication enhancement, and then again, add count 2, obstruction of highway, and proceed solely on count 2.
No objections, Your Honor.
There's no objection. Do you also waive the 10-day notice of amendment?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you're proceeding on obstruction on this too, state?
Yes, Judge.
All right. And the court grants that motion, and you are now, in your case, Mr. Arzola, you're particularly benefiting from the change from extreme intoxication to obstruction. Now, to the charge, pardon me, since is apparently he's going to get deferred also?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Each of you has applied for probation. You both benefited tremendously from the work of your lawyers in that you have gotten an agreement for deferred adjudication. Deferred adjudication is a written, legal, binding agreement between you and this court. That agreement includes that even though I will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, because I'm honoring this agreement, I will not find you guilty. You will be placed on deferred adjudication. You might consider that postponed adjudication. If you live up to 100%, and I mean that very literally to you, if you live up to 100% of the conditions of supervision, then the case winds up being closed and you are not convicted even of the obstruction. If you fail or refuse to live up to 100%, then the state may ask me to issue notice to you, bring you in for official hearings. And if in my opinion you deserve it, then I will enter a final conviction that follows you the rest of your life. If that happens, you're looking at a full range of punishment. None of the numbers at this time would be in concrete. The full range would be a fine from $0 to $2,000 and jail from 0 days to 180 days, actual jail. Is that clear, Mr. Arzola?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Nelson?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Nelson, to the charge of obstruction of a passageway, highway, or waterway, how do you plead?
No contest.
Mr. Arzola, to the charge of obstruction of a passageway, highway, or waterway, how do you plead?
No contest.
I inform you both that a no contest plea in this court is considered a guilty plea. And as such, it is sufficient for me to convict you. Do you understand that, Ms. Nelson?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Arzola?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Did anyone threaten you, intimidate you, or promise you anything other than the plea bargain in exchange for your plea of no contest? Ms. Nelson?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Arzola?
No, Your Honor.
All right. State, tell me what the agreement is on Ms. Nelson.
Judge, the agreement is a $500 fine plus court costs, 12 months deferred, 48 community service hours, DWI education, victim impact panel, TAP evaluation, ignition interlock for half the term, and restitution, if any, to A. Gutierrez.
A like apple?
Yes, Judge.
All right, before I continue with the sentence, Ms. Nelson, how are you supported? How do you, are you employed?
Yes, I'm employed full-time.
And what do you do and what is your income?
I get paid $20 an hour, 40 hours a week, and I remodel stores like the Home Depot or Walmart.
How long have you done that?
Just since the middle of August, but I plan on staying with them for a while. We travel to different states every few months.
Miss Nelson, Judge, does live in Madison, Wisconsin.
Say that again?
Miss Nelson lives in Madison, Wisconsin. So we're going to ask for permission for her to reside there and travel for work and report via Zoom to probation.
I will certainly consider that shortly. All right. Do you have children that you have to support, Ms. Nelson?
No, I don't.
All right. I accept your plea of no contest. I find that there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, but I do not find you guilty. Instead, I am granting you 12 months deferred adjudication. You're assessed a $750 fine, which I will acknowledge immediately that is a greater punishment than what you agreed to. You granted 12 months deferred. You will perform 48 hours of community service restitution. You will complete the DWI education program, the victim impact panel. You'll submit to a TAP evaluation and recommendations. You'll have ignition interlock installed in your vehicle for a continuous 6 months minimum. The only way that changes is if you get into violations and you don't live up to your conditions. You will pay restitution, if any, to be determined to A. Gutierrez. Your supervisory fee will be $47 a month. Now, because I have given you a fine which is greater than what you have agreed to, you have the right to refuse and to demand that you start all over again. What is your wish, ma'am?
I'd like to continue, please.
You accept the increase in the fine?
Yes, I do.
Very good. I frequently have people that have half of your income and they have the same fine or greater. So I don't find it justifiable in my particular instance to just fine you 500 at 750. The court will specifically allow you to reside in Madison, Wisconsin, and authorize you to travel with your employment.
Thank you.
When you travel, you will have to report. You will during this deferred adjudication report on a regular basis, virtually, that is by computer, to the probation department. Is that understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
And when you travel, you will be required to inform the probation office that you are or will travel, and the whereabouts and the length of time. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now you're ordered. Are you here in town at this time?
No, I'm in Madison, Wisconsin.
Okay, Ms. Morgan, we're gonna have to have her place her thumbprint on documents. You'll have to arrange for that to be done.
I was gonna see if the state, so what I've done in the past is stipulate that the night that she was arrested, the fingerprint taken at the county jail is her fingerprint. But if not, I will arrange it so we get a verified fingerprint from her.
Just comply with it either way. The court will be satisfied. And do not leave this meeting, this hearing at this time until you have met with a young lady by the name of Maricela Luna. Is she here today, Patty?
I'm here, Judge.
Okay. Ms. Maricela Luna is called a court liaison officer. She will talk to you and explain the probation process to you. Probation will then also read to you each of the conditions. You'll have to acknowledge them and you will be bound by them. Any questions, Ms. Nelson?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
And then be careful and stay out of trouble. Be extra careful about drinking.
I will.
Ms. Morgan, if you choose, you can stick around and assist Ms. Nelson, but at this time you are excused.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Arzola,
Yes, Your Honor.
all right, you have, you're now charged with obstruction of a passenger highway waterway. To that charge, you have pled no contest. Did you understand what you were doing when you pled no contest?
Yes,
And state the agreement is.
Judge, on this one, the agreement is a $300 fine plus court costs, 14 months deferred, 48 community service hours, DWI education, victim impact panel, top evaluation, and ignition interlock for half the term.
By the way, Mr. Arzola, are you a U.S. citizen?
yes, Your Honor.
All right, okay, I wanted to make sure. All right. You have pled no contest. I find that there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, but I do not. Instead, I am placing you on 14 months deferred adjudication. You are fined $300 plus court costs. You will perform 48 community service restitution hours. You will complete the DWI education program, the victim impact panel. You will submit to a TAP evaluation. You will have ignition interlock installed in your vehicle for a minimum of 7 months. How do you make a living, sir?
Work full-time, for a union company called International Paper,
And what do you earn?
roughly $20 and something change.
Do you work overtime at all?
It's not mandatory.
That's not my question. Do you
Uh,
work
Yes,
overtime?
yes, Your Honor.
How many hours usually do you work overtime?
Roughly, looking at about 72 hours.
So you're getting 72 hours a week,
2 weeks.
every 2 weeks.
Yes, Your Honor.
So that's 36 twice. All right, that's a regular full time.
Hmm.
Is that what I'm hearing from you? 72 hours?
Yes.
If it's full time, it's usually 80 hours every 2 weeks.
Oh, that's my mistake, Your Honor.
All right, clear it up for me. I'll remind you, you're under oath, so you got to clear it up for me.
So I work from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. 6 days on, 6 days off. So it's not like on a rotational schedule, back and forth.
All right. Okay. I set the fine. Do you have children you support?
Yes, Your Honor. I do pay child support.
How many children do you support?
1.
One child.
Yes, Your
All
Honor.
right. I do not accept the $300 fine. I'll make that $650. And since I'm adding punishment, you have the right to demand to start all over again. That is up to you.
I accept and wish to continue.
All right, your supervisory fee is set at $50. Never mind, $45 per month. Do you understand what I have said?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any questions, Mr. Arzola?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you will have to come into the offices of Bexar County Court of Law number 5. You'll need to have your thumbprint put on the paperwork. You understand? You have 1 week to do that.
Yes, Your Honor.
Also, stick around for the meeting with Ms. Luna. She will start you off on the probation program.
Yes, sir.
The conditions will be read to you. You will sign them. They will be put in your hands. Okay?
Judge
Yes,
Karen
sir.
Corby, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
Judge, with reference to the community service hours, does this court give any credit for having the COVID vaccination?
I have not to date.
I was wondering if you would consider giving him some credit for the COVID vaccination, and also ask you whether or not it would be appropriate or allowed for him to pay the community service off.
Uh,
I know some of the courts are giving credit for the COVID vaccination, but I know some of the courts may not have even heard about doing that. I'm just throwing it out there.
it's been asked of me previously. I have not granted it so far. In reference to the authorization for donation in lieu of CSR hours, I would authorize that for Mr. Barzola.
Thank you.
Now, at the rate of $11 an hour, for any or all hours he wishes to donate. I prefer that the donation be to the Gabriel Project. However, he has an option to San Antonio Food Bank.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right.